Thank you. As I said, sales engineer from Donegal, based in Dublin, so hopefully you can understand the Donegal accent. So today I'm going to give you a presentation in two parts. A presentation on nitrogen generation and a presentation on ISO standards. As I said, my name is Matthew Havlin. I'm a sales engineer and gas generation specialist with Atlas Copco. So I'll just tell you a bit about Atlas Copco. So Atlas Copco is Atlas Copco has almost 150 years experience in the compressor industry. We are one of the world's largest compressor companies. We currently have offices in over 140 countries, and today 1 in 3 compressors worldwide are sold worldwide are manufactured by Atlas Copco. We're also the largest supplier of quality air products. These include filtration, dryers, oxygen and nitrogen generators. So we'll start with nitrogen generation. And I was always told in college to try to capture your audience's attention with the first slide, so I'm going to try to do that. Atlas Copco nitrogen generation will give you a 1 to 3 year return on investment and a 75% annual saving on average compared to liquid or bottled nitrogen. So just a bit of information on nitrogen and what it is. Nitrogen is mainly found in the atmosphere, where it accounts for 78% of the volume of the air we breathe. It's also found in the crust to a limited extent in the form of nitrates, in an organic form and plants and organisms, and in mineral form such as ammonia, and thus contributes to soil fertility. In its gaseous form, which we're talking about today, it is a neutral, colourless, tasteless, odourless gas, mostly inert, meaning that it can hardly react with any other elements. And this is the real use for it. So, nitrogen applications. Now, if I was to walk around this conference hall today, I could probably find 20 people in here who could tell me nitrogen applications that I've never heard of. But a few that I do know of and the main ones is to prevent oxidization of vitamins, lipids and fats, and to stop growth of molds, yeast, bacteria and high moisture food products. It's also used in wineries and in breweries. So when you go for your pint of the black stuff at the weekend, that's nitrogen bubbles you're drinking there. It's used in tank blanketing, or tank flushing and packaging. So when you get your salad as well to recover the next day, that salad's been kept fresh in a modified atmosphere. So how do we create nitrogen? Well, there's 2 types of nitrogen generators. The first type is a membrane generator. This runs off a compressed air supply. It's a compact, all-in-one N2 supply. Instant supply of nitrogen between 95 and 99% purity. It has an extremely low dew point of -40, and it's a low investment. The second is a PSA technology. This also runs off a compressed air system. It's reliable and proven technology which uses a pressure swing absorption of a CMS or carbon molecular sieve. It gives high purity nitrogen from supplies of 95% up to 99.999. That is the same as your liquid nitrogen. The main thing about the PSA would be the low running costs. So I'd just like to introduce you just quickly to the Atlas Copco nitrogen range. Atlas Copco have the largest range of nitrogen generators and auxiliary equipment on the market today. All fully certified at each purity and food safe. It really is a one-stop shop for your nitrogen gas supply. It's all headed up by our best-in-class NGP Plus PSA generator. This generator gives a cost-effective solution to the expensive deliveries of liquid and bottled supplied nitrogen. So, as we like to say in Atlas Copco, nitrogen bottles are history, and we don't just like to say it, we like to prove it to our customers. And the way we do this is we generate return on investment reports for our customers So after an initial visit to the customer's site, we request details on their current usage and current costs. This allows us to size a suitable system and give the customer an accurate return on investment report. As you can see from the one on the screen, this is actually, as I say in the TV, I suppose, one I made earlier. This is an actual customer's return on investment report with their details removed. So we've taken a look at their bottled cost analysis, and you can see we worked it out that they were paying €1.91 per metre cubed. Now we've designed a high pressure system of 300 bar to give them a cost of 52 cents per metre cubed from our system, and a return on investment of 31 months. Now, in saying that is a high pressure all-in-one system. It supplies compressor, filtration, nitrogen generator, boosters and tanks. So I'll leave you there with the nitrogen, and I'll move on to the ISO standards. I'm going to look at two standards today, 8573, the 2010 edition, and ISO 22000. So 8573 is actual compressed air standard. It looks at the quality of the compressed air and what quality you want to achieve. So to talk about quality, first we have to talk about the contaminants. As you see, there's 5 main contaminants in compressed air. There's your water and dust, your dry and wet dust, your water, which breaks down into liquid and vapor, your oil, which also breaks down into aerosol and hydrocarbons, or liquid and vapor, your gases contaminants, this is your CO and your CO2, and your microbiological contaminants. These are your viruses and bacterial. So just to give this a bit of a visual, or let you visualize this a wee bit better, we can see here from, depending on what side I'm looking at it, left to right, the size of the contaminants. So it starts with pesticides, works its way up through viruses, oil vapor, bacteria, up then into water vapor and mist. As you can see a few products that have been spoiled by dust and water. There we've got microchips, we've got your wine, and you never want to spoil your wine. We've got bacterial growth, etc. Now, to achieve the standard we want, we need to first understand what standard we want. So we've got several different areas, and as you can see there's a few numbers down the side. What do those numbers mean? We'll get to that. But in service area, we need to know what we want there. Instrumentation air, same thing, we would like to know what will not affect the instruments. But when we're chatting about today is the food and beverage. Now this is really important. We've got 2 types of air we require in food and beverage, and these have very high ISO standards. So the two are defined by non-contact and contact. So non-contact is air that could come in contact with the food, and contact is air that comes in direct contact with the food. So I've highlighted a very small but very significant difference in these 2 types of air. You can see the total oil contact on non-contact is less than or equal to 0.01 milligrams per meter cubed. On the contact, it is less than and not equal to 0.01 milligrams per meter cubed. Now, as I said, it may look like a small difference, but it's a big difference in the equipment required. Now, if we just take a quick look at the ISO standard, I'll explain what some of these 242s and 121s mean. So, as you can see, we have, it defines 7 purity classes from 0 to 6. These classes, the maximum contamination level of solid particles, water and total oil. So if we take, for example, a 242 class, that means in solid particles we've got 4,000 particles between 0 and 0.5 microns, 6,000 particles between 0.5 and 1 micron, and 100 particles between 1 and 5 microns. And then if we look at our water, a grade 4, that gives us a pressure dew point of 3 degrees. And take a look at our oil then, a grade 2 again, less than 0.1 milligrams per meter cubed of free air delivery. Again, so that gives you 242 in an ISO standard 8573. Now, we'll try to visualize this, what it actually means. So, in these examples, we made up a compressed air network with quality air products resulting in a final air quality. Whether designing a new system or reviewing an existing system, the first step should be to define exactly what compressor purity you require. So if we take a look at our Class 0 oil-free air, we start with an oil-free compressor, an air receiver, a small dust filter, a CD dryer, and again another smaller dust filter and bacterial filter. Now, this is the highest standard you can get if you have a Class 0 compressor. If we were to try to achieve the same with an oil injected, it's not possible straight away. We can achieve a Class 1. Now, to get to a Class 1, if we actually take a look at the extra filtration that is required in the application, this ends up becoming a costly exercise. It is possible, and it is possible to give you a good quality Class 1 oil-free air, but to go real and truly oil-free, you need an oil-free compressor. So if you have a oil-injected compressor, what do we do now? We try to achieve Class 1. And how do we do that? Well, it's another filter. The answer lies with a filter which employs an active carbon. So this active carbon absorbs the oil vapors and oil mist. In essence, it's a 3-stage oil removal which becomes necessary to achieve Class 1. So as you can see, we've got our oil-injected compressor. It has a built-in oil separator. We move on then to a pre-filter with a high-efficiency filter after that, followed by our all-important active carbon tower. The active carbon tower gives you an oil content of 0.003 milligrams per meter cubed. This is then followed on by a dust filter. So just to conclude with ISO 8573, the most important things to remember are to understand the air quality that's required, and to choose the correct equipment to do so efficiently and effectively. Myself and my colleagues at Atlas Copco are always on the end of the phone if you have any questions in regards to filtration and standards, so it's not something we expect everybody just to know off the top of their head. I'll move on now just to the ISO 22000. So ISO 22000 is not compressed air quality or standard. ISO 22000 is an auditing and certifying quality management system and procedures. It ensures food safety by adequate control throughout the supply chain, quality assurance systems for the food and beverage industry, certification schemes specifying safety management systems derived and based on ISO 9000. So who has ISO 22000? Well, Atlas Copco. Atlas Copco was the first compressor manufacturer to be certified with ISO 22000. Now, we thought this was important and really pushed for this because, as you can see, a number of ISO 22000 food and beverage companies keeps growing, showing the relevance of this standard. This is what the industry wanted, so we achieved it. If you look at the FSSC 22000 sites worldwide, again, this has been led by Europe. Europe likes to lead the way with these standards, and Atlas Copco likes to keep up with them too. So where does it ISO 20000 apply? It applies to the actual products, the equipment. So with Atlas Copco, it applies to our Class 0 certified products and our quality air products. So our full range of Class 0 compressors and our full range of Z compressors, followed by our desiccant dryers, our refrigeration dryers, and all our particle filters and oil filters. That's it. I'd like to thank you for your time, and if you have any questions or would like any more information on ISO standards or nitrogen generation, I'm more than willing to have a quick chat with you. Thank you.